Hey, today I want to share with you the 3 money disciplines of business and really focus on manage. So there's make, manage, and multiply your money in business. If you really want to dive into how to make money, go back and watch my video on starting a business in your 40s where I show you how to take an idea to income to make more money. But for today's video, we want to talk about managing money. And I tell you, this is something I really wish I'd known when I started my business. No one shared this with me. It was over time through a lot of mistakes and through some education through a mentor. But this is so key and crucial once you start making money in your business. Learn how to manage it correctly. So let me share with you a couple of the steps. Up until this point, how I always did it was what my accountant showed me how to do, which was look at a P&L or a profit and loss statement, right? So you can use softwares like QuickBooks, FreshBooks. There's lots of softwares that are easy to use that link right up with your bank accounts, draw those transactions in, and will really just spit out a report, a profit and loss report. And your accountant will go through that. The problem that I have, which I'll get to in a second, is what's shown right here. It will show you your income, your expenses, and then if you're lucky, if there's left, there's profit left. And that's how I ran my business for years, was income, expense, what's left is profit. Yes, that makes sense on paper, but I would get that at the end of the month or in the early days. And for many of you just starting a business, you may not get it for 90 days. To get those tracking metrics can take a long time. And when you finally get it, you see, oh, look, I made a profit. But this number never matched what was in my bank account. So I could never make decisions on my business. And if you're in business just starting or you have an experienced business, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to make decisions when it comes to marketing, scaling, hiring, when you're looking at a number that's in the past. So I'm going to share with you how to manage it correctly so that you can make decisions in the moment, on the fly in running your business, because that's what it's like in running a business. So let's dive in. All right, so here's how I do this. Now, what I'm going to share with you right here is each one of these squares represents a bank account, because this is what's key. When you look at this, this was for me all in one bank account. All the income went into one account, all the expenses came out, and any profit that was left. The challenge with this is as I made my budget, which I'll show you again in the bank accounts coming up. When I made my budget here, right, I had budget amounts for each expense and I would spend them. But as the income went up, right, I'm still spending these fixed amounts. And so what happens is I have extra profit and we just send that out. And so yes, it sounds great, I'm making profit, but I'm not really saving anything for the scaling up of my business. It's not really built into this model, and that was where the challenge came for me. So I'll show you also how to deal with that here. As I said, each one of these squares represents a bank account. And so as I have these accounts, I have one for income. All the income goes into one account. And I'll show you why that's really, really important. I reference that as our depository account, meaning everything gets deposited in that account. Now, whether you accept checks and you can mobile deposit them right in, great. Or if you have a merchant account where you're charging credit cards, they should all be deposited in this depository account. If you do nothing else, I'm gonna show you just how to have 2 accounts. You have a depository account and then one for expenses, any and all expenses. Just doing that alone to start with your business will be a great skill set. And now I'll show you a full tutorial on how to scale this up. I open bank accounts for each of the major rocks that I have expenses for in my business. So for me, just to start, maybe it's rent, it's taxes, payroll, marketing, and I'll show you the last one here in a second. So for example, I bring in on this side right here, $10,000 of monthly income. What I want to do when I set my budget is not do like before on this, where this is fixed. These are fixed amounts. So if this expense right here was rent, let's say $3,000, that rent is always $3,000. When my income goes up, my rent is still $3,000. But over here, right now, $3,000 is actually 30% of my income, right? Taxes, I probably want to take another $3,000 or 30% saving for taxes, right? So now I'm at $6,000. So my payroll, let's say, is 20%, so $2,000, and I'm going to spend 10% or $1,000 in marketing, right? So quick math, 3, 6, 8, 9, that leaves me $1,000 over here, which is what we'll talk about. This is what I do. I actually set up an individual bank account for each one of these. So where I bank, I can go in online, open the bank account, and I can actually name this account. I can nickname it is what it's called. So I nickname this rent 30% or rent 3,000, knowing that's how much I have to have in there for rent. And let me share with you really quickly the simplest way of what this does for you. For me and how I do it every day, we have revenue that comes in through our merchant account. And I go in and I set up automatic transfers weekly from this depository account to help fund these accounts. And the way I would describe it, it's like a dashboard or levers you're pulling. And I'm constantly looking at it to make sure we're ahead or if we're behind. But see, I can see in a snapshot, let's say it's the middle of the month and by the start of next month, I need $3,000. By the middle of the month, I should have what? $1,500 in here, at least, to make sure I'm close to hitting this 3,000. Now, if this makes sense and you like what we're talking about here and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so you get more stuff like this. And I know it's hard when we're talking numbers, right? But stay with me on this. In the middle of the month, I should have $1,500 right here to know that I'm on pace to make my rent. Same with taxes, payroll, and marketing. By doing this at a snapshot, I can see the health of my business any day of the week. I can log in online and see it right now to see if I'm on track for where I need to be to meet all of my expenses. Because keep in mind, if I was going back to here and I'm waiting for this, my accountant's not getting it for me till the end of the month at best, and I really don't know how to pivot or make changes until the end. Let me erase something here. So what I want to show you is what happens when your income goes up. Because you're following this percentage-based budgeting versus a fixed amount that would be $3,000 every time the rent's there, what you're going to do now is when your income goes up, let's say to $20,000, you still have to put the 30% of rent in this account. So for example, in this scenario, it's now $6,000 that goes into here for rent. And you're probably thinking, Chaz, this doesn't make sense. My rent is only $3,000. Stay with me on this. Now, with the taxes, right? $6,000, you got to keep that going up. Payroll, so now it's $4,000. Marketing, $2,000. So why would you do this? This answers the question of when is the right time to scale and move up. For example, people reach out all the time and say, hey Chaz, when is the right time to hire? Well, when you have the money that's starting to come into your payroll and you're exceeding what your current payroll is, that tells you when it's the right time to hire. Hey Chaz, should I spend money on my marketing Facebook ads or whatever it is? Well, what's in your marketing account? See, now you know, and you can pull these different levers to make sure that it's working. And the last one that I would say for you is this, is either a savings account that you put it here and or profits. Right? This goes in. So if it's 10%, this is $2,000. I keep, in this model, two ways I look at my profit. Because I'm percentaging it out, profit is actually one of these above the line sort of expenses. And if there's anything left, it shows up and flows into that account as well. I'm actually taking it out right up front. This right here is the concept of paying yourself first. It goes in an account that's set aside right through here. I don't have to wait till the end of the month and hope and pray like I did the first few years that I have profit. I'm already setting it aside right up front for that profit. Okay, so let me share with you the benefits of running your business and managing your money this way. Number one, as I said before, it gives you a snapshot. I can look right at my bank account and see how am I doing on payroll? How am I doing on rent? Where do we need to increase, decrease, etc. Number two, and this is a big one right here, security. A couple years ago, I came in the office on a Monday morning and I looked at the bank accounts, or before I ran it this way. And I noticed that our bank account was at a negative amount. And I was like, what happened? I started digging through the transactions and someone had gone to like Macy's and JCPenney and all that over the weekend. Somebody bought new shoes. So I'm like looking around the office, who's got new shoes, who's got new clothes. I'm just kidding, it was nobody in our office. Our debit card for that account had been compromised. Well, so look at it this way. These are checking accounts. And this is a really key point I should have mentioned earlier. These are all checking accounts. The reason being is you can only make 6 transfers a month. That's a law, that's not per bank, but 6 transfers out of a savings account per month. And because I'm moving money potentially in and out more than 6 times, these are all checking accounts. Some will say, well, yeah, but I have to pay a fee for a checking account. The $5 or whatever that I pay for that, I don't worry because I'm managing my money much better. Additionally, you could look at like a credit union or other banks where they don't charge for the checking accounts. But because these are all separate accounts with their own either checks and or debit cards, at risk really only if this one gets compromised, I'm only at risk in this account or this account or this account, etc. This depository account never has checks and or a debit card for it, right? It just doesn't. That way I reduce the security risk for that account being compromised. And additionally, one other thing you can do with this account, which is what we do, this is kind of a higher level advanced, this account is at a separate bank because then it's harder to get at that money. This is all with one bank, this is with a separate bank. So it helps with security. So again, it's snapshot, I can look at it, 2, the security, and 3, the simplicity of this. I know at any time kind of where my money's at, and anytime we want to make something, like right now, we have a piece of our business, an additional arm of our business that we're now going to open another account so we can track it and we can do the expenses for it. The third part of the simplicity is if you have partners here, I really like this board, I like to draw on it. If you have partners here, you now know what's in this account to pay your partners out of this account. Instead, when I did it this way, my partners would get this P&L, this profit and loss statement, and they're looking at it and this was really low, low profit. Let's say it's like $1,000. So what's a partner going to do? They're going to start looking and digging in and auditing every one of your expenses to make sure, hey, what's this expense for? Why did you buy donuts for the team or whatever? Because I didn't get enough profit. Where in this model, it's taken right up front. I can send a statement at the beginning of the month. This is what we put aside in this account, and this is what you're going to get for your profit distribution. This is the really important piece to managing your money. It's something I wish I knew right up front when I started my business, because it's really changed. This one thing that I just shared with you changed the entire trajectory of our financial stability as a business. If you like this video, subscribe, stay on this channel for more videos just like this.